mob has plans. The cops have plans. Gordon's got plans. You know, they're schemers. Schemers trying to control their little worlds. I'm not a schemer. I try to show the schemers how pathetic their attempts to control things really are.
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today?
Hi guys, Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's it going? Good? So, there are interesting elements going on within the politics of this country. Basically, we have a polarized society, hell-bent on one side destroying another side. I try to investigate on a daily basis how this propaganda, how this conventional wisdom, how the social norms affects normal working people, normal everyday people, and convinces them to forget over 40 years of neoliberal policies, laissez-faire economics, and foreign wars that span all the way back to the war at Vietnam.
When you act socially conscious, I'm looking in my heart and my mind and try to get beyond this. But as a human, I have a thing for my habits and my.
I try to comprehend how people, regular people that aren't trying to search for a political office, that aren't trying to get a higher office, that don't search for prestige, publicity, campaign finance contributions. How can they possibly buy the fact that Trump is a racist? However, the racist things Joe Biden says, the racist things Joe Biden does, and his 40-year neoliberal record of the crime bill, incarcerating thousands of people, the third three strikes law, the absolutely hell-bent racist legislation when it comes to marijuana possession, working with segregationists like Strom Thurmond. How are all of these things being disrespectful to black reporters on a daily basis? Come on, man. Are you a junkie? This was only the recent gaffe of Joe Biden when it comes to black reporters and black people that disagree with the Democratic Party have come to the enlightening conclusion, the epiphany, that the Democratic Party is not only shilling for the military-industrial complex, for Wall Street, for the banks, and we know this because of protests in which Barack Obama crashed the heads of peaceful protesters in Occupy Wall Street.
Black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections.
He expanded the wars, turned the wars from 2 to 7, took on healthcare, which within the vein of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, we all believed that he was going to create a public option or a universal healthcare system in which poor people might be able to get to the hospital without being charged thousands of dollars. But instead, Barack Obama took on Mitt Romney's plan from Massachusetts. He nationalized that and made the health insurance companies richer and made poor people be fined for not having health care.
A political chump. In Washington, D.C., in the House of Representatives, there are 257 who are Democrats. Only 177 are Republicans. In the Senate, there are 60 Democrats. Only 33 are Republicans. The party that you backed controls 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and still they can't keep their promise to you, because you're a chump.
With all of the evidence to the contrary of the conventional wisdom and the social norms, the Democrats have blatantly and transparently been a founding father, been a foundation, been a systemic, intricate instrument in white supremacy, in racism.
Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you're dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race.
Expanding our white supremacy order of the United States of America onto the rest of the world. We are a shining beacon of white supremacy, thanks to the Democrats and the Republicans. Now, people like to say things like the lesser of two evils. What are you going to vote for the lesser of two evils? Now, this is a fun, logical fallacy that puts into argument, for argument's sake, that one of these two parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, is less evil. Although both parties pollute the oceans, both parties take money from fossil fuel companies, both parties like fracking, both parties expand the wars. As Rand Paul pointed out, both parties always compromise on a daily basis when it comes to spending the American people's money, the taxpayers' money. So you have these two political parties who are hell-bent on hiding their own shame and their own sins and their own evil. And in order to do that, they demonize the other. They demonize the other side and pretend that that side is way worse than the side they are. When in reality, they're the same thing. They're the exact same thing. They both support the same thing. They both want the same thing. And they're both paid by the same people. There is no difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. There used to be a thing called conservatism, fiscally conservatism, in which we had a budget and it was balanced and the spending and the revenue were budgeted, right? And that was called fiscal conservatism. And when George W. Bush came into office, fiscal conservatism died. We in Iraq alone, $2 trillion in 5 years spending. And they thought that they could buttress that. They thought they could budget that. They thought they could actually stop the hemorrhaging of the spending that we were doing by killing brown people overseas, by cutting entitlements, and by demonizing gay people with Don't Ask, Don't Tell, DOMA. And back in George W. Bush's time, they wanted to amend the Constitution to make sure that gay marriage was illegal and that it was between a man and a woman. And the Democrats were fine with it. Barack Obama famously defended that position at that time and exclaimed and declared that marriage, he believes, was between a man and a woman. Now, it took him a little bit of time, a little bit of LGBTQ campaign finance contributions of money. It took him a little bit of negotiation to evolve on that subject, to change his mind just naturally, just totally naturally. He just changed his mind one day and decided it wasn't. So I understand these parties. I understand why they lie. I understand why they twist reality. But I don't understand why normal working people are buying into their whole spiel. How do they not see what's happening right in front of their eyes? And how do they not remember the thing that happened the other day? How is that possible? Now, one of the things white supremacy is famous for is when it comes to marginalizing minorities, when it comes to demonizing the other, that white supremacy does is cultural appropriation, okay? Cultural appropriation is taking something that minorities have done before and a white person does it and they change the name of it, like cornrows become French braids, right? There's a whole lot of examples that just don't come to mind because I don't really think about white supremacy. I don't think about cultural appropriation too much. I guess I should because I had an epiphany the other day, actually, and it's this. Now, before I go into cultural appropriation, I just want to make this statement. and that is the Republican fans, the sycophants, and the Democrat sycophant fans. Now, I tell my friend Veronica this all the time. You're halfway right. You just got to open the other eye. So both of these Republicans and the Democrat people that identify with these people for some reason and relate to them, they are half right about everything. Okay? So the Republicans are saying that Joe Biden is a racist. The Democrats are saying that Trump is a racist. Y'all are both right. They're both racists. Okay? The Republicans say that Obama was spending too much on wars. The Democrats say we're in too many wars with these Republicans. They're both right. Okay? So everything that the Republican people, sycophant fans say about the Democrats, every bad thing they say about the Democrats, it's true. And every bad thing the Republican sycophant fans say about the Democrats is true. They're both right about each other's faults, okay? But instead of taking that knowledge and internalizing it and trying to come up with a solution, trying to piece together the country, trying to have a union, they use the propaganda and the rhetoric of these political parties that are trying to hide their flaws and the fact that they were in Ukraine trying to do a deal with an energy company. And then they impeach the president. They actually take these little otherisms, they take the demonization, and they literally apply it to their perspectives too. Why? Like, it's like being purposely one-eyed. How are you doing that? Like, why would you do that? Like, so my first question is, why would you relate to these people who only want to seek power, money, and wealth and do the bidding of their masters? And then why would you want to take their philosophies? And why would you want to take their flaws? Why would you want to take their rhetoric and just relate it and appropriate it to yourself? I mean, that is just twisted. It really is to me, in my opinion. Lately, the thing is that who's a racist more, Trump or Joe Biden? Now, let's analyze this real quick. So, Joe Biden has been in office for 40 years. Okay, he was a senator, worked with Strom Thurmond, segregationist. Kamala Harris in the debates told him, we talked about the busing issue, how he didn't want to live in a racial jungle. He was a straight up racist, right? But because he has a D next to his name, the Democrats call him a devout Catholic and not a racist, okay? Meanwhile, Trump, who is like hand over fist tripping over his long ass tie and can't do a goddamn thing right because he's got the Republican Party who's got some kind of ideology where spending is okay unless you're spending money on poor people. And also, but we are the ones who like actually make the economy work. And we actually make the wealth for the elites. So it's like, how are you not going to spend money on the poor people? We're the ones working and making the money for the wealth of the country. We're the ones making this the best country in the entire world. We're the ones making this the most richest country on the face of planet Earth. And yet, like, the poors are lazy. So the Republicans have that philosophy, and the Democrats have this philosophy where everything the Republicans do is bad, and it's racist, okay? So that brings me to appropriation, okay? So I didn't realize what was going on with this. And I think a lot of black people in this election cycle, because Barack Obama is not a distraction, pretending he's a progressive first black president, and then expanding the wars and enriching the financial sector of the health insurance company. He's not a distraction anymore. So now we're seeing what ugly really is with Joe Biden, who's disrespected Charlemagne the God. He's disrespected Brianna Joy Gray. He's disrespected Nina Turner. He's disrespected every black person that's disagreed with him. Come on, man. You a junkie, man? You ain't black, man. He's disrespected, condescended, and his racist tropes just ooze out of him every time a black person asks some inquisitive question which kind of just like shakes the narrative of the Democratic Party. Joe Biden believes that he's being goaded. In reality, we're trying to get to the heart of the matter, which is you, Joe Biden, are also a racist, just like Trump. Also, we want what's best for our communities, and we want what's best for our country. We want what's best for our families. So we're trying to ask people in power why they're racist and why they're doing things that actually conflict and coincide with their platforms and their campaign promises, in which they promised us that they would fix problems, and then they expand wars and they enrich the financial sector instead. Why is that? And every time a black reporter asks Joe Biden why that is, come on, man, are you a junkie, man? So, I mean, this just now, the Democrats and Republicans, like I said, they're both evil. There is no lesser of two evils. They are both plain as day, evil as fuck. Okay? So, I mean, in reality, Trump did the First Step Act, which countered the crime bill, in which Joe Biden's racist past and racist history shined brightly within the white supremacist order, and Strom Thurmond praised till kingdom come. Trump actually broke through white supremacy. Was it because he loved black people? No. It was because Jared Kushner's dad was in jail. Okay? So it was for his own interests. So, look, see, aren't I being fair? Am I not being fair in assessing the reality of the situation? Do I have to take these political parties that twist and spin and apply that to my logic? No, because that makes me insane, guys. It makes me insane if I do that. You sound insane, okay? You sound insane, and you sound really stupid when you're talking about Trump being a racist. And you guys are about to vote for the biggest racist in the history of our entire fucking political country, the Democratic career. He is the most racist Democrat that has ever run, Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the most racist Democratic nominee, even more racist than Hillary Clinton could possibly ever be, because she wasn't racist. She was just politically consultant, like crazed. She couldn't do a goddamn thing without a political consultant, and then 5 fucking focus groups, and a research survey, and some polls. She couldn't do it. So this is a whole nother animal. Joe Biden is a blatant racist, and he is also a plagiarist, and a liar, and a cheat, and a philanderer, and a smear artist, and possibly a rapist. So you guys, when you relate, it's like Aladdin, when they said, phenomenal cosmic powers, itty bitty living space, when Jafar wanted to be a genie, right? You got it, guys. Everything that goes with being a Democrat. Phenomenal cosmic lies. Now this applies to you. You actually put onto yourself, the sins of the Democratic Party when you relate to these two evil parties. So open your eyes, guys, and think logically and clearly, and just assess history. You don't have to do any fucking mental gymnastics when it comes to just columns, pros and cons. This philosophy of these two parties, that only the reason they have these philosophies is because they're trying to hide their sins. Both of them. Why are you gonna fucking open the door and just embrace that into your home and into your life and into your hearts? It's darkness that you're embracing. And that's a warning. That's a warning from me. So, look, I don't hate anybody except for Karens. I'm just kidding. They're pretty funny though. You know what's funny? We've been calling people in the restaurant industry Karens for a long time, and now all of a sudden, it's all over social media. Who the fuck let everyone know what Karens were? Y'all ruined the fun. Anyway. So this political season, we could do a big thing, guys. We could actually think for ourselves, and we could actually all vote for neither of these parties. And do you know how much that would fuck them up? Do you know how much that would fuck up their little conventional wisdom and their social norms? If half the country that doesn't vote because they know what's going on and they know it's rigged and they know they're just using you as a pawn to just share and spread their propaganda virus. If we all just stopped. Stop, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. we just stopped and we just said no, do you know how much of a screeching halt this whole entire matrix would just eat itself? There would be pandemonium. Do you know how fast Congress would come to a fucking stimulus if we just actually pretended that we could use our own brains? So, I just want to leave you with that, guys. And if you want to debate, what's better, a libertarian argument or a conservative argument or a progressive argument, I'm always down for that. But this isn't even about politics. It's not about ideology at all. This is about, these guys are liars and you guys are letting it happen and you guys are letting our country down. You're not patriots if you vote for these parties. You're sycophant fans. You're cowards. And you're pretty stupid. And I really don't like calling you stupid. I don't want to yell at you. I think of you as friends and it disappoints me. It makes me sad to see the cognitive dissonance that just oozes from you guys because you just borrow and relate these two lying evil parties as a, spin. Please think for yourselves, guys. And please like, share, subscribe. Tommy Nation Politics. Thanks. Bye.
Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you're dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race.
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today?